Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to BnB Live, and welcome to the show. Our guests will be here in just a minute, and I've had some technical problems today. You gotta love when that happens, but we have some great guests today from the Tote Project, and I can't wait to bring them in. I do want to remind everybody that I am leaving for Kenya in less than a week, so I'm really excited about that. If you are inclined put this here. I'm going to remove myself. Oh, Lord. Sorry about the problems. I'm going to remove myself there. Okay, I'm going to... Okay, I think what I just need to do is go off of here. All right. Okay. Now I'm gonna just adapt and overcome. When you have technical difficulties, you just got to work with it and hope that it all works out. All right. Let me add you guys in. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, yes.
Hi.
Yes.
You gotta love it when you have technical difficulties and nothing seems to want to work. So
good for you for figuring it out on the fly. It's working great now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't know, my laptop, I have another camera, it wouldn't connect, and then the laptop was freezing, so I'm like, okay, I got a cell phone, let's just adapt and overcome and switch to this. So awesome. Welcome to Michelle and Faye from the Tote Project.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you to be here, and I have to show you what I have here with me, two of my favorites.
Oh,
yay! The dogs and cats.
So the first one I bought was the cat, because I have two cats. It was before I got a dog. And then when I got a dog, I of course had to get the dog. Nice. So yeah, you can't have, if you have cats. So this one is always my bag when I'm doing events. This is my money bag. I have all my stuff in here and my square and everything.
We use that too.
Yeah, and now this bag it has my passport and things in it for going to Kenya. So
how exciting!
Yeah. So I love these bags. These are so. I think the first time that I connected with you guys was at a Fair Trade LA event before COVID. It was so long ago, and that's where I got the cat bag. It's before I had my pupper, who's over there, nicely chewing on a 18-inch long chew bone. So she'll be busy for a while.
Maybe it was Conscious Christmas.
Oh, yes. In downtown LA. Yeah.
Good times. I'm glad we're back to doing events again.
I know, it's so great. And I'm so glad that you guys are also a partner in Fairtrade Long Beach, where we are also. So shout out to Fairtrade Long Beach. So if you haven't, if you're local to Long Beach, and if you're listening, you're local to Long Beach and have not visited Fairtrade Long Beach, or you haven't visited in a while, the Tote Project is in Fairtrade Long Beach, along with Baskets and Beads and several other fair trade partners, both global and local fair trade. So stop by there. That's a great place that you can pick up. Actually, I saw that you have these in the bigger totes as well. So that's pretty cool. But I'm actually considering, reaching out to you guys to have a Baskets and Beads tote. So that would be great.
Yeah, I love that.
We do partnerships all the time.
So you guys started this in 2013, and I read a little bit in your bio about how you guys have been. How long have you guys been friends?
I think 12 years, right? And then in business for 10?
I think so.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, crazy. It went fast.
Yeah. So what made you just decide? Share a little bit about the Tote Project for the listeners, for the audience, and then also what made you decide to get involved.
Yeah, so we're the Tote Project. We are two best friends on a mission to empower human trafficking survivors through our fair trade accessories brand. We give back 10% of our proceeds to a nonprofit in Los Angeles called The Qualified. And they have an amazing program that they work with survivors who are trying to figure out what their next step is, and they figure out what their dream jobs are and get on a path to pursue those dream jobs. And so it's been amazing to partner with them for this entire journey, and then to start expanding and start giving back to other nonprofits as well. And it's been an incredible ride together. It's fun having a business with my best friend.
Yes, ditto that. We actually found out that we both were passionate about fighting human trafficking like the first time we hung out. It was kind of funny. We're like, you're passionate about it too. And then at the time, 12 years ago, there wasn't much conversation about it, and there wasn't really like easily accessible ways to get involved. And so we were pretty overwhelmed at the idea, and there were some options that were unsafe that we had considered. And I ended up moving to Asheville, North Carolina, and we didn't really talk about it after that. We both had full-time jobs, of course, doing things, and I started sewing totes and pouches out of like upcycled fabrics, and then donating a portion of the proceeds to fight human trafficking. And then California banned plastic bags, and I was like, wow, like what if we took this tiny little Etsy store that I'm doing right now and made it on a bigger scale? And I just called Michelle the crazy idea, and I didn't think she would say yes. I was like, do you want to start a business called the Tote Project, and we're going to do this? She's like, yes, I'm in. And so that was 10 years ago. And it's cool because we really didn't know anything about running a business, but we were so passionate about our cause. And so we just took our talents and combined them, and somehow have been successful. We still kind of pinch ourselves, honestly.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then when you say there wasn't a lot of focus on human trafficking only 12 years ago. That's not that long ago. Mm-hmm. And so the nonprofit that you support, what they get survivors and they work with them to help them to reestablish their lives?
Yeah, specifically it's a career academy. So a lot of times when people are rescued from human trafficking, they might end up in a safe house. And from there, they go through some sort of program where they heal and try to figure out what's next. But if they're not given the tools to be able to just pursue financial freedom and independence and have a job, then it's a lot of times very challenging for them to go back into normal life again. and they struggle with paying their bills and keeping their apartments and feeding their children. And a lot of times they end up back in the sex industry because they're desperate. And so Qualified has stepped in and offered this academy to help them figure out what would your dream job be and how can you attain that job. And then while you're on the path to either attaining the job, starting the job, they pair them with occupational therapists who stay with them for a year to just make sure they're equipped to handle any obstacles, whether it's like a boss that's kind of overbearing, or there's different things that could trigger PTSD for them in a new job. And so it's just a really incredible program. And it's been amazing. Faye and I get to volunteer, and especially now that Faye's back in Los Angeles again, we've been able to spend a lot of time with the survivors and teach classes, and seeing them go from the first class to like graduation, and seeing them get jobs. And it's just been so inspiring and really gives us so much motivation to keep doing what we do.
Wow, that's awesome. And it's just that opportunity that they might not otherwise have. It sounds like a fantastic program, and it's great that you guys are involved in it. And so your products are made out of various upcycled fabrics, is that right?
So the lining is upcycled sari, and then the rest is organic canvas. Oh yeah, there you go, Michelle. So every pouch has a different lining because it's all upcycled. And then we print with water-based, eco-friendly inks. And the tassels are also made from the upcycled sari.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I really love I'm a fabric person, and I just love the feel of the fabric. It's so soft, but it's sturdy. And I've had like I think that was 2019, right? That event, was it in 2019? So I've had this since then. And
probably more than, honestly, probably like 2017, 2018.
Maybe 2018, because I didn't get started in fair trade until 2018.
Okay.
And but I've had this since then, and it's very sturdy, durable. It's gone with me a lot of places and done a lot of things, and I love it. And I think the construction is great. So you have these, and then you have regular totes. Like what all products do you have for the audience? I've seen on your website and seen at Fair Trade Long Beach. So and then share a little bit about the designs, how the designs came about.
Do you want to
the totes? And
there
then
you go. I was going to say, do you want to take that question? Perfect.
I have some here with me. So we have full-size tote bags that are even sturdier than our pouches, like a heavier grade of organic and fair trade certified cotton, which is exciting. And they have pockets. I don't know if you can kind of see in here, but at the bottom, there's a message that says, "Hold on to hope that together we can end trafficking." There's a water bottle pocket and a key ring. So these are great tote bags. And we have some more products coming out later this year, but it'll be a surprise when we end up announcing them. So I'll let Faye tell you about the designs that we have on our bags.
It's exciting because we've been selling the same, we've been slowly improving our tote over the last 10 years, but we've had just a tote and a pouch for 10 years. So we're very excited to branch out and have some new products. So I've been painting the art on all of our totes and pouches from day one. And, we talk a lot about, we love spreading awareness and speaking about what we do. And a lot of what we talk about is finding kind of what your talent or skill is or what you enjoy doing, and then using that for good. And so I'm not good at public speaking or things like that might be helpful in fighting human trafficking. But I enjoyed painting and sewing. And so I just use that as sort of my means, as a doorway into helping people. So all the art is a freedom phrase. So we try to spark conversation about human trafficking, and not everyone is free. And every single tote and pouch is free to love, or, free to believe, or whatever it is, that you're drawn to. And then the art sort of correlates with the phrase. So I think yours both say free to love for people who love dogs.
Yeah, free to love, with all the little puppers and kitties on there. I love the one with the tie.
Me too.
Cute.
Aw, I'm so glad you like it.
Yeah.
So it's been fun, like, and we're actually moving into partnering with other artists for a new collection. So
Oh, wow.
I'm passing the torch. So,
Yay. Well, the designs are beautiful, and the tote bag is a great thing that you can take to the store, because that holds a lot. Looks like it holds a lot of items, so you could go to the store and do your shopping and bring it all home in one big tote. It's great size product. I really like it.
thank you. We joke because we've had our children in them, you know, like we test the weight like capacity. We've like my husband swings our 4-year-old in there.
Oh, that's great.
Fun videos.
My dog weighs 60 pounds. I'll have to see if she'll fit in there.
Let us know. Report back.
I'm not sure she'd be down to get in there. She'd be like, "What are you doing to me?" So share a little bit about the importance for people who don't know how prevalent human trafficking is, because people really don't know. We think of human trafficking, like I work with women in Kenya. A lot of them have been trafficked or trafficked themselves prior to us working with them as a means to earn income. But there are women and children here in the US that are trafficked that people don't even think about. So share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's somewhat hard to nail down like specific statistics about human trafficking because a lot of it is unknown. So there's people that make really like liberal assumptions, really conservative assumptions of the numbers, but it kind of goes back and forth between being like the second largest growing criminal industry or the third largest. So it's definitely a huge concern, and it's international and also local. And we know it exists basically in every community. People tend to think like, oh, it's happening, like you said, in Africa or something. But yes, it is happening in Africa, but it's also happening in Costa Mesa. And like any community where you live, it's probably, happening in your nail salons and massage parlors and restaurants. It's such a widespread problem that it can be overwhelming when you learn about it. Faye and I talk about this a lot, that when we first learned about human trafficking, we were just devastated by it. I watched a documentary that showed undercover footage of kids in brothels, and you can't unsee that. Like, I'll never get that out of my head. But it would be easy to try to push it out and just never think about it again because it's so traumatic. But we really, like, as we talked about it that first time we hung out, we were trying to figure out a way to not let that heaviness paralyze us into like inaction, and instead use it to motivate us to do something. And kind of the positive spin on this is that when there's some issue so large, there's actually a lot of opportunities to get involved and help. And so there's many ways to fight trafficking. There's many ways to support survivors, and becoming aware is a really important step, because a lot of times, especially in the US, trafficking exists in plain sight, which means that a person who is currently a victim of trafficking might be in the grocery store in line behind you. They're not necessarily like locked up in a room like people a lot of times assume. A lot of times they're stuck due to like mental manipulation and coercion. It's not necessarily physically stuck somewhere. So anyway, we encourage people to go to Polaris Project. Maybe I can type that in the chat. I don't know if there's chat with everyone. I'll put that in there. But Polaris Project has great data. They operate the human trafficking hotline. And so I love reading their statistics. Every year they put out a different report. So I would recommend that if you guys are interested in learning like the nitty-gritty details. But anything to add, Faye?
No, I think you covered that. I think just like touching on what we discussed before, I think if you're passionate about it, like there's so many ways you can get involved, like donate your time or teach a class, or you could, if you do web design, you could offer to like revamp a website for a nonprofit fighting human trafficking. Like you can literally use any skill to, fight human trafficking and not to feel afraid and overwhelmed by the statistics, like Michelle had said. So.
Yeah, it's the one of the pastor that I went on the mission trip with that got me involved in Kenya. His slogan was here, we're here to serve, not solve, because you can't. It's such a big issue that you can't solve it all, but you can serve a small portion of the community. And if you can't get involved, you can do something like buy a product that goes to support an organization that helps people uh, get out of human trafficking and get a different life. So that's a lot of people can't get involved in doing stuff, but it's great if you have a skill and you can get involved in doing something with an organization, or buy a product, or donate some funds, or anything. Every little bit. People think sometimes that, oh, I can't do much to help. Like when I'm doing my fundraising for Kenya, and somebody was like, oh, I can only donate $20. That's not much. I'm like, well, that $20 will go and buy some school supplies for a kid in Kenya that wouldn't otherwise have it, or it might pay part of the school fees. But when everybody puts something together like that, it enlarges on a bigger scale. So even if somebody just has one little skill they can donate, that will help too, because you never know how much that skill can be connected to another skill and help.
Absolutely. You nailed it. Totally.
Yeah. Vote with your dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So I always like to ask, because yours is also a fair trade product, what to share with people, because the whole part of BnB Live, a sustainable fair trade network, is to educate people about fair trade and the importance of fair trade. A lot of people think, again, that, oh, I can't do much to buy fair trade in my life, but I always tell people to start with one thing. So for instance, your product with the tote, if they go to the store and they get a tote and they use that, they're supporting fair trade. And why, share from your perspective why you think it's important to support or buy fair trade.
You had, yeah, go ahead.
So, well, when we started the Tote Project, speaking of ourselves as a fair trade business, becoming fair trade and working with fair trade manufacturers was our top priority, because you can't have a business with a mission to end trafficking if there's trafficking in your supply chain. And so partnering with fair trade manufacturers was our way of guaranteeing that everybody was paid a fair wage, and that the workers were empowered, and that the earth was protected, and that all those values that we care about were seen in our supply chain as well. And so it's just great. I mean, there's a lot of different fair trade certifiers. And so it's kind of interesting. Like, our pouches are made through a group that is part of Fair Trade Federation. And then there's fair trade certified factories and fair trade certified fabrics. So you can get really into it. But overall, fair trade is just our priority, because it is a movement where you can guarantee that people are valued and respected above profits. And so that's what we care about.
Yeah, awesome. People before profits. If more people would think with that concept in mind, not only in the products they buy, but in their workplace where people work. If you invest in people, people will always make it a better product, make it a better just kind of environment all around. And I think that's a lot what fair trade's about as well. There's the whole no child labor and no forced labor principles of fair trade and things like that. So when you buy a fair trade product, you can be assured that those principles are adhered to, especially Baskets and Beads Kenya is a member of the Fair Trade Federation. And there's a very stringent process also being fair trade certified if the fabric or the textiles or whatever is being used is fair trade certified in that regard. Anybody buying fair trade can be assured that the products that they're purchasing have gone into those reviews and have been deemed to not have slave labor and not have forced labor, and that the workforce is paid appropriately, and that their culture is respected, and all the principles that go along with that. So it's the more we educate people about fair trade, I think the more opportunity will, and more fair trade products are starting to show up. I've noticed in stores, in like basic stores you wouldn't see, like Ralph's has fair trade chocolate in it now, and
like Target and Madewell, and it's popping up everywhere. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. So people are having they're making a conscious effort. Actually, Macy's is even going the fair trade route as well. They're very interested in adding fair trade products to their brand as well.
Oh, wonderful.
We talk about a lot how, man, it feels like every week we get at least one email from a factory reaching out to say, we can get you totes at the cheapest prices. And it's like, delete.
Yeah.
It starts out with that. I know that I'm not interested because I want to hear them brag about their worker initiatives and, you know, their workplace safety and just all the things that are important to us. It's not always about getting some, or I should say for us, it's never about getting a product made for the cheapest price, because somebody pays the price. If I'm not paying the price, then the worker in the supply chain is paying the price. Yeah. And we would never want that to happen. So
yeah, and you wonder what price that is, because there's people that are working in factories that maybe they're paying more out of their pocket than they're actually earning to work there, or the horrible thing that happened with the factory that collapsed 10 years ago, and the workers were forced to go in and work, and many of them died because of it. And it's ensuring that those type of things don't happen. And because I have a job that I work on top of this, but you know, I go to work and there's workplace safety standards and things like that in place, but there's other places that don't have that, and especially outside the US. So you have to think about who made my clothes, who made my products, who's growing my food. Are these people actually getting paid a fair wage, and are they safe in their work environment? Are they being forced to work? Like, you know, we always go back to the chocolate industry where the big three, Hershey's, Nestle, and Mars, are still buying chocolate made by kids that have been kidnapped and forced into slavery to pick the cocoa for the chocolate.
Absolutely. Even in Los Angeles, honestly, up until very recently, people, I mean, I'm sure it still happens underground, but I don't know if you heard about the Garment Workers Protection Act that was recently passed, because people were paid like pennies per shirt instead of paid an hourly wage. And so they weren't even getting minimum wage. Like, these workers are working in these factories that are basically sweatshops in downtown LA, making Forever 21 clothes and like Marshalls, I think, and Ross clothes, because they actually produce their own lines, and they're making like $2 an hour or something horrifying. So yeah, it happens here where we live too.
Yeah, I remember that. I go downtown LA often. I have a couple of customers down there, but I also know about some of those factories, and some of them have been closed down. It's sad, but at least there are things being enacted to protect those workers. Because can you imagine being paid $2 an hour in Los Angeles?
How could you live?
No, it's impossible.
Yeah. It's impossible to minimum wage isn't even considered a living wage in California, in many parts of California.
Yeah, and they interviewed a lot of people making that $2 an hour, and they were giving part of their wages to relatives in a different country, supporting their families. And like, well, how can you do that on $2 an hour? It's heartbreaking. So it's important. Everyone's becoming aware, and now things are changing because people care when they find out about it. So
it's true. That's wonderful. Like, what a difference we've seen in 10 years. Like, it's really, really exciting, honestly. Like, the conversations that people are having and the awareness that's being spread, and it gives us a lot of hope.
Yeah, you see a lot of those ads online, and it's like, you know, dirt cheap clothes, and I just for grins, I go and see if I can find if it says where the website, and you go to the website and there's no contact address and there's no details and there's nothing. It's like, oh, contact us. You have a little form you can fill out, but you don't know where it is. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is probably someplace that's not employing workers that are getting a fair wage. And it's called fast fashion. You get the cheap fast fashion. It's cheap fabrics. It's turned around quickly. And it looks like, oh, that's a great deal. But like you said, somebody's paying for it. If we're not paying for it, somebody's paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you have some new products coming, but you're not. When are you going to be announcing those?
Well, we're hoping holiday.
Okay.
Maybe even a little earlier, depending on how things go. But we're very, very excited. This has kind of been what we've been dreaming about for a long time. I mean, it's been baby steps. We just started doing this full time. I mean, we had other jobs, we've had babies, we've had health struggles, we've had so much happen in 10 years, and we're finally to that point. We're excited. We're excited to branch out because we also, I don't know if we mentioned, but we do art workshops with survivors as well. And that's one of our favorite things that we do. We supply the art, we teach them how to paint, and we just talk about how art heals. And then so we actually just partnered with the Salvation Army to kind of celebrating our 10 years, which was pretty cool. And we hosted an art workshop, and we're selling it's called the Hope Pouch, and it actually features art by the survivors. And then 50% of our profits supports the Seeds of Hope program in Las Vegas. And we'll provide like extended emergency housing for the women out there. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, Las Vegas is a place where I would expect trafficking is at a very high rate.
Yes. And what Seeds of Hope is doing is amazing. And we feel honored that we could partner and support them. And it's been such a really special partnership for us. Really.
How did you get involved in that?
Well, they reached out to us, actually. We've been doing it for a long time, and we have a submission on our website. And they just emailed us and said, do you want to host an art workshop for our program? And we said, of course. And then one thing led to another. So it's pretty awesome. Honestly, I want to do those every week. They're like my favorite. We get to laugh with the survivors and cry and hear stories and sing songs. I mean, it's such an incredible experience, and we're just so inspired by their courage, and they're just amazing. So had to give a shout out to that pouch because it's pretty awesome. We're pretty excited about it.
You should show it. Don't you have that one?
I do, actually. Yes.
Let me see. Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Oh, okay.
So all the florals were painted by the women in the art workshop.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you definitely get that online and at Fair Trade Long Beach. So any parting thoughts as we wrap up?
I don't know, Michelle, did you have anything to say? I feel like we touched on so much important stuff, and I always say quality over quantity. When we talk about fair trade and all of this, it's what I try to live by. So yeah.
And then if more people, and I always tell anybody listening, if you can pick one thing, you don't have to think, oh my gosh, fair trade, I'm overwhelmed, I can't possibly incorporate that in my life. Choose one thing to incorporate in your life. Maybe you get a tote from the Tote Project, or maybe you get some chocolate or some coffee or something that's fair trade that you can just incorporate in your life. Make one change, and then once you do that, then it'll start to expand from there. So I always encourage people to not think of it like, oh, I have to change everything in my house to fair trade. No, it's hard to do because we aren't to that yet. So just pick something in your life that you can change out and make fair trade and concentrate on it, and then educate yourself more. Educate yourself about fair trade, about human trafficking, about all the things that people are doing to make a difference in the world, and join in somewhere. Join in some way, somewhere that you could do. Either participate if you have a skill, like we said earlier, you could participate in helping an organization that's helping human trafficking survivors or other survivors of other situations. I sometimes work with veterans since I'm a military vet. So you pick something and get involved, and then or donate your time, donate your funds, have something in your house that's fair trade. You can make a difference just by taking one little step.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That actually made me think, just to add on to what you're saying, Aldana, that I feel like with fair trade and like ethical consumption, it's easy for people to feel like guilty, like, or feel bad, like, oh my gosh, I need to be buying all these products. And like you said, to get rid of everything in your house and replace it all with ethically made, fair trade certified stuff. But it's just not realistic, and there's no reason to feel guilt. Instead, like you said, like, just what's your next purchase? When you run out of your baking chocolate, next time you buy baking chocolate, try to find the one with the fair trade label. Or when you need to go buy pants, go to Madewell or Target and get their fair trade certified pants. So yeah, just trying to think of it that way. And also, kind of like we were saying with human trafficking, that it's an overwhelming problem. It can feel overwhelming to feel like every purchase I have to find fair trade everything. It's like, just do your best and give yourself grace, and every purchase makes a difference, especially when you're supporting these small brands. So thank you to everyone that supported us all these years, because we couldn't do it without you guys.
And where can somebody find you online?
TheToteProject.com, and we're at the Tote Project on Instagram and Facebook. We just started a TikTok account, so
bear with us
old for that. But hey,
we're almost 40, so we're slow. We're slow.
Oh, I know. I don't. I'm not even sure what I'm doing over there, but I post some things and get a few. Oh, people looked at this. Okay, I guess I should keep doing it. I don't know.
We'll follow you on there.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Likewise, I'll follow you back. Every now and then I throw a video of my dog in there, because she gets people like to see what she's up to. She's a crazy paw. She's like right here by me, like huffing in my face. Well, not my face yet, but.
Hey, same here. That's our most popular TikTok, is my dog on there. So
yeah, everybody loves the pups. I actually posted a video of her slow motion dock diving. She has an Instagram, by the way, Indigo Malinois, and she it got like 2,500 views. I'm like, I can't get that many views.
That's awesome.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm just so grateful that I got to talk to you guys, and I just love your product, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new line come out this holiday season.
Oh, thank you so much for having us and chatting with us. This was wonderful.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We will until next week. You won't be seeing me next week. I think I'm sending a video just about my travels, so you'll see clips of me, but I will be on my way to Kenya, so I'm excited about that. And you will be seeing over the next couple of weeks all the things that we'll be doing there. So Vanessa will be taking the helm, and she and I are going to record a session while I'm there, and she's going to play it, but it won't be live, because over there right now it's something like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I don't think I'll be getting up at that time to and the internet's not that great where I'm staying, so I don't think that the reception would work anyway. So, but you'll hear from me, so keep following along, and we will see you soon. Naku Panda.